Hello, today we're going to discuss the use of the Airbrush in MakeHaven. Upon approaching the paint spray booth, you can look down to the airbrush. First thing we should do is check that the airbrush is intact, all the pieces are together, and that the hose line is connected. If this is true, we can pan up and look at the gauge. We can see now it's not getting any pressure. We open this, it now has pressure going to it. If we need to change the pressure going to the hose, we can turn it up or down as needed and lock it in place. Also, don't forget to turn on the fan. Here we have the airbrush in the spray booth, and we should pay attention to a number of different parts here to learn how to use this. So here, if we remove this, is the cup in which we'll put paint. This is gravity fed, so gravity will do all the work of bringing paint to our spray. And here are our controls. This is a double action airbrush, so pushing down will initiate air, and pulling back will change the amount of paint that's being given. So just down is not going to release any paint, and then pulling back is going to increase the paint, and then pushing forward is going to reduce the paint. So a good habit to have is press down, have the air, no paint should be coming out, and then slowly pull back until we get the amount of paint that we want. Here we have the paints we're going to be using for today's session. We've got a little bit of airbrush paint and some flowies. And so the first thing we're going to do is take our paint that we're going to use today and really get it very uniform and mixed. You can't really spend too long doing this, make sure it is fully done. And then once that's ready, we can take a drop or two of our flowies, add that to our cup, and then go ahead, open our paint, and add that to our cup as well. Now we're going to want to mix these two together. So what you can do is take your finger or a paper towel or makeup sponge, but cover up the top of this air thing so no air can get out. And then we're going to press down and pull back a little. And if you look inside, you can see it start to bubble and foam. And so that will mix all of our paints together. Now if we want to start practicing with our painting, we can press down, and this is just air. And then we can slowly pull back, and you can see the changes here. And so we can kind of go forward again, once just air. And we can change the thickness of our lines and the brightness of them by changing how far or close we are to our material that we're working with and how far back we're pulling this lever. So just a little bit back, but very close, we'll get a nice fine line. Now if we pull way far back and really open up on that guy, you get a real wide, heavy coverage. Once we're done with our color, we can look underneath the spray paint for the wash bin. And so what we're going to do is between every color that we use, we're going to clean out this. So we have here just a little spray bottle of water. Kind of just try and get most of what we can out of here. And then I'm going to grab a paper towel. And I'm going to go into this cup and try and get every little bit of pigment that I can out of here. And do the little tip a bit. And it's getting close. And now we can take our airbrush cleaner and add that to the reservoir where our paint was going. So I'm opening this up right now. And I'm just going to add a little bit of airbrush cleaner, and I'm going to do the same back bubbling technique that we did to mix. And this is going to hopefully get all those little bits of paint that were down way in the cup that our paper towel couldn't get. And I'm going to let this actually spray out a bit so we can get some of the stuff in there and give that a dump. And basically do this until it comes out clean and you don't have any more paint. So I'm going to do a little bit of rinsing with some water, and a little bit more airbrush cleaner and bubble it. And it looks fairly clear from here, so I'm going to spray it, and I can also use a paper towel. And we can see maybe there's a, oh, that's just my glove coming through. So yeah, it's clear, it's not spraying any color. We should be good for the next color. When we're done painting completely, we're going to do the same cleaning that we do between colors, but also a little bit more. So if you look at the end here, this will screw off if you turn counterclockwise. And then there's a knurled knob right here. We're going to turn that counterclockwise, just quarter turn, and pull this needle out. Do be careful with this, because this is what controls the flow of paint. So we don't want this to get bent or damaged in any way, but we can take a paper towel with a little bit of our airbrush cleaner on there, make sure that there's no paint on this needle, and we can also check the tip here. This also unscrews with a left-hand turn, and we can see, make sure there's no paint. Again, airbrush cleaner if it needs to be. Once we have our needle clean, and our tip clean, and our bowl clean, we can put our needle back into the unit. Turn this just a little bit hand tight, no need to over crank. And we can put the end of our airbrush back on. That should just screw on. Again, hand tight. And now we can put our cap back on, put this back in storage, and then we can put away our wash bin underneath and make sure to turn off the pressure to the hose. And that concludes our video on the airbrush at MakeHaven. Please, when you're done, make sure that everything is as you found it. The air is off from the compressor, the fan is off to the paint booth, and the airbrush itself is put away and clean. Thank you, and good luck with your future airbrushing endeavor.